Jadov is back at it here to give everyone another Chicago Bulls related video. In this particular video, I'm going to be giving you my all-time Chicago Bulls team. I'm selecting 15 players to represent my Chicago Bulls team since I've been watching the Chicago Bulls. Now, stay tuned to this. I'm going to name 15 players, and there's definitely going to be some surprises that you won't necessarily expect. And this is my team, not the best Chicago Bulls of all time. If you don't agree with this list, go ahead and leave me in the comment section who would you have on your team. So let's start it off with a little Ray Clay. And now the starting lineup. Okay, starting at small forward. I mean, there's no brainer here. Small forward / point guard somewhat. Scottie Pippen. He was the LeBron James before LeBron James. He did a little bit of everything. He got, 15 to 20 points a game. He got some rebounds. He got the assists. He got a 3 or 2 a game. He got some steals. He got some blocks. He did a little bit of everything, and he was definitely a complete player and arguably the second best Chicago Bull of all time. My power forward, Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was a great player on the court to get into people's heads. You think the Bulls would have beat the Jazz if it weren't for Dennis Rodman? I don't know. Karl Malone got so flustered by Dennis Rodman that he couldn't do it all because Rodman was constantly jabbing at him. Yeah, he's had some issues, some things he did, kicking a cameraman and doing weird shenanigans, but on the floor during a game, Dennis Rodman was the man. He didn't need to score much. All he had to do was play good defense with his long arms and grab a bunch of rebounds and tip the ball to himself 7 or 8 times in one play. So Dennis Rodman is my starting small or power forward. The man in the middle. I mean, there's a couple guys I could give this particular starting nod to, and I'm picking somebody kind of obscure. I'm going to put Ben Wallace in the starting lineup. Long arm defender. He only needs to really play defense and help get rebounds when Dennis Rodman can't. There's other people I could probably start at center. I chose Ben Wallace because that's who I want to start. He's not going to play a lot of minutes because other guys off the bench are going to kind of fill in for him. But I would start Ben Wallace at center. He was like one of our big free agent signings, the post Michael Jordan era, not area. My starting point guard is going to be Derrick Rose, the youngest MVP ever in the National Basketball Association. It's unfortunate because Derrick Rose was really doing good. And LeBron James even said that he was afraid of Derrick Rose in the Chicago Bulls, but then Rose got hurt. Now, Derrick Rose has come back a little bit now, and he's looking better, but I mean, I don't know how much time he has left for his career, but hopefully he comes back to the Bulls just to end on a high note because he left the Bulls with injury after injury after injury, but now he's staying relatively healthy, and that's a good thing. And I had to put Derrick Rose as my starting point guard just because of what he did for the Chicago Bulls. And then, of course, my shooting guard, you already know who it's going to be, the best Chicago Bull of all time, Michael Jordan. Us to 6 NBA championships. Probably would have been 8 in a row had he not retired after his dad died and went and played baseball. He did come back that one year, but it was kind of late in the season, and maybe he just didn't. He was a little rusty still. But Michael Jordan was amazing, and he would will the Bulls to victory. Bulls never lost a championship. Well, they've never lost a championship, but definitely Michael Jordan's never lost a championship. Some LeBron James has done multiple times. And now we get to the bench, and that's where things get interesting. I mean, there's going to be some guys that I'm going to have on this, but there's other guys you're like, really? You're picking them? What impact did they have? I just like these players a lot. So let's start it off with my backup guards. No particular position because some of them are kind of interchangeable. They can play shooting guard, they can play point guard, depending on who else is on the floor. I chose Steve Kerr. I could have went with John Paxson too. John Paxson didn't make the team because Steve Kerr was, I think, more of a fixture on the Chicago Bulls than Paxson was. Although Paxson hit a pretty awesome three in the 92-93 NBA Finals to put the Bulls over the Suns in Game 6. But Steve Kerr was good. He hit open shots a lot, and he was a good player. And I just chose Steve Kerr. I could have went a different route, but I figured that we need that 3-point specialist. Another guard on my team is another 3-point specialist, our sixth man at one time. Guy had some issues later in his career, and he's trying to turn his life around. But when he was with the Bulls and our sixth man, he would go off, and I'm talking about Ben Gordon. Ben Gordon was awesome, and I really liked Ben Gordon when he was with the Bulls. I was sad to see him leave, but he was kind of a one-dimensional guy. He'd only have good offense and couldn't play defense, kind of like somebody else that's on the Bulls right now. But I did enjoy Ben Gordon. Didn't have as much as athleticism. He's basically a shooter. That's all he was. But I enjoyed Gordon, and he's on my all-time team as it stands right now. A couple more years, he might be off the team. So will Steve Kerr possibly, but we shall see. And then my other backup guard is going to be our current all-star, hopefully, and that would be Zach Levine. I really like Zach Levine. He's a lot of offense, but he's, in my opinion, improved his game, improved his game, and improved his game. I haven't watched many Bulls games, but I think Levine's getting better on defense, but he's still not at a point where he should be. Now, I think the Bulls should have hired Mark Jackson as their coach because I remember when Mark Jackson was the Warriors coach and Steph Curry or Stephon Curry and Klay Thompson weren't necessarily good at defense, but they could shoot the shit out of the ball, and they got better at defense. And then Jackson leaves, and Steve Kerr becomes the coach, and they win NBA championships. But I like Zach Levine a lot. I hope the Bulls keep him for a long time period. We still have him. He's, I think, under contract for one more year after this year. I think we should re-sign him for another 5-year deal and keep him into the fold because he is really improving his game, and he should be an all-star this year. Well, he should have been an all-star last year. So Zach Levine, he's on the bench as well. Could start, actually, but Derrick Rose, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, where do you put Levine? Rodman? Maybe at center, or switch Rodman to center and Pippen and whoever at the, I don't know. Another guard forward combo guy. All star with the Bulls. Very improved player over the years. We traded him. Got a big haul for him. Not sure who won that trade yet, but Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was a late round pick that really improved and improved and improved and improved. And I think he could have had a really different team his last year with the Bulls. But then the Bulls decided to sign Dwayne Wade or Rajon Rondo and made the team old and clumsy. And I think they should have went youth movement there. And we might have been a little bit better. Jimmy Butler still might be in town. However, we did trade Jimmy Butler for 3 impact players. It was Jimmy Butler and some other center. Was it Jordan? No, not Jordan Bell. Oh, what's the guy's name? I can't remember his name, but for Chris Dunn, Zach Levine, and Lauri Markkanen. Liked the trade and really enjoyed it. So Jimmy Butler, he's awesome. He did really good for the Bulls. It's too bad we didn't have like a second and third guy on that team with him. I think we could have been really good with Jimmy Butler, and he already made a championship with the Heat, so that's awesome. And then my last guard, this is probably one of my biggest surprises on the team. This guy has a lot of injuries that have plagued him over the years, and he is no longer with the Bulls. But I really like this player. He's one of the best defenders when he's on the court, and I really liked his game. His offensive game wasn't that great, but defensively, you can't. This guy was amazing, and that would be Chris Dunn. I know it's a surprise. A lot of Bulls fans have some animosity with Chris Dunn, but you could say the same thing about Derrick Rose with all of his injuries. But Chris Dunn, he would show really good glimpses of being a good player, really great player, and then he'd get hurt, and then he'd have to start all over again. I really liked Chris Dunn. I think the Bulls should have re-signed him in the offseason. I don't know why they gave Denzel Valentine a contract. Valentine's okay, but I would have kept Chris Dunn at least for one more year. Of course, he's already hurt. He hasn't even played a game this year, I think. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but he started the year hurt. That's all I know. But I like Chris Dunn, and he would be on my all-time Bulls team as of right now. My backup forwards. Our backup forward, small forward, awesome defender, one of the best Bulls of all time, a great draft pick, and that would be Walden. Walden was a great scorer, not an elite scorer, but his defensive, he had long arms and he could D the shit out of people. I enjoyed Dang. I wish that team with him and Butler and all those guys, or was he before Butler? I don't even remember the years that he was with the Bulls, but Luol Deng was great. And he all of a sudden kind of declined a lot, but I really enjoyed Luol Deng, and he did a really good job with the Bulls. So he's definitely on my team. And a couple surprises that I thought about not including, but I'm going to include at power forward, 6'10 from Clemson, Horace Grant. Now, I could have left Horace Grant off this team, but I didn't want to put Lauri Markkanen on the team because Lauri Markkanen has been hurt too much, and Horace Grant won 3 championships with the Chicago Bulls, and I think one with the Orlando Magic. No, they didn't win a championship. I don't remember. I think he went to the Lakers. I don't remember, but nonetheless, Horace Grant was a key contributor on the 90, 91, 92 teams that won 3 straight championships against the Lakers, the Trailblazers, and the Suns. And he was kind of the Dennis Rodman then. Just didn't rebound the ball as well as Rodman and didn't get into people's heads as well as Rodman. So Horace Grant, he's on the team. And then this guy, some people forget about this guy. I don't. He was one of our key contributors in our 3 championships from 95, 96, 97, 98. Well, the 3 in a row that we won in the mid 90s to the late 90s. And that would be Tony Cucco. Kukoc was great. He'd be kind of the center on the floor at the end of the game, or Rodman would be. Well, he'd be a forward center at least. He could score. He could do. He wasn't the best defender necessarily, but he didn't really have to be. You had Jordan and Pippen who were elite defenders, and Rodman who was pretty good defensively. And Kukoc did what he needed to do, and it did a lot for the Chicago Bulls. So Tony Kukoc is on my team, and then we come down to my 2 remaining spots. Bulls haven't had a lot of good centers over the years, guys that made a huge impact. I don't necessarily like this guy as a player. He played hard for the Bulls, and he was a defensive player of the year. I thought about leaving him off the team, but ultimately I wanted to make sure we had a few centers on the roster, so I put Joakim Noah on the team. I was a little upset when the Bulls drafted him out of Florida when they did. I thought there was other players that they could have drafted that would have made a bigger impact than Joakim Noah, but Joakim Noah did win Defensive Player of the Year, and you can't take that away from him. He had a weird shot. That's probably why I don't like him, because his offensive game needed a little bit of work, but his tenacity, his resiliency, just not to quit, he deserves to be on the team as of right now, and we'll see what happens with Joakim Noah if he's going to retire or not. But Joakim Noah, pretty good defender. He's one of my backup centers. And then my last player, because I wanted a center that could score very well, maybe not the best defensively and kind of slow, but Paul Gazelle. He was really old, signed with the Bulls, and had 2, or was it 3, really consistent years with the Bulls. Actually, he was one of the best players on the Bulls when he was there. I wish the Bulls would have got Paul Gazelle a long time ago when they'd been rumored to get him like 5 years previously. But we got him when we got him, and he was pretty good for us. And yeah, I like Paul Gazelle. He's won championships with the Lakers, and maybe he'll win another one some year. Who knows? I think he's still trying to play. I think he signed with somebody recently actually. I don't recall. So there's my team. Let me recap this just in case you weren't paying attention. My centers, Ben Wallace, Paul Gazelle, Joakim Noah. Forwards, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, Horace Grant, and Luol Deng. No surprise there, really. Jimmy Butler is kind of like the small forward / shooting guard on the team. And then Michael Jordan, Zach Levine, Ben Gordon, Derrick Rose, Chris Dunn, and Steve Kerr are my guards. Now, other guys that almost made the team but didn't, I actually thought about putting Eddie Curry on this list because I wanted a center that was like good defensively but could score in terms of like dunking the ball. So I thought about him. Like I had mentioned, I thought about Lauri Markkanen as well. And I, of course, thought about John Paxson. B.J. Armstrong also came across my mind, but then I realized I don't really remember B.J. Armstrong really doing much for the Bulls. So there you have it. There's my roster. Now, if you're wondering where guys like Bob Love and Artis Gilmore are, I didn't watch the Bulls that time period. I started watching them in like 87, 88. So that's where I'm judging these players. Another guy, honorable mention, who I really liked, who maybe years ago would have been on this team. Cliff Good News Livingston was great. I loved Cliff Livingston. He was a good role player with the Bulls back in their early championship days, and just thought he'd get a little bit of an honorable mention here. So if you're a fan of the Chicago Bulls and you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button. If you have an all-time team for the Chicago Bulls, go ahead and smash the like button as well. If you know anybody that would be interested in this video, share it with them. Don't forget to leave me a comment with your all-time 15 greatest Chicago Bulls that you've seen play. You can dispute the guys that I have. I know a lot of people will be pretty upset that I put Chris Dunn on this team. Maybe Ben Wallace. I don't even remember how many years Ben Wallace was on the Bulls. Maybe 2, 3 at most, but I just thought he would be the best starting center. I thought about Luke Longley. I thought about Bill Cartwright. Thought about Stacey King, Will Perdue. They weren't that great. So, yeah, but leave your all-time team. Comment with the guys that you think I should have put. Give me shit for the guys like Chris Dunn and Ben Gordon that I shouldn't have had on here. I think those are the two big ones that people are going to complain about. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to this channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.